Hello. We're going to do trig identities where we are rewriting the expression into one function. So I have three problems here. So this is reciprocal identities where we're going to take each of these three things and make them into one trig functions. So it's kind of like in algebra class when you had like maybe 5x plus 2 plus 3x and you made it 8x plus 2. So this is like all about simplifying things. So we need to there's lots of ways you could do this, but like if this is tangent and this is cotangent, I know that cotangent is equal, so like cotangent of x is equal to 1 over tangent x. I know that's a fact. So I can replace this cotangent x with 1 over tangent x and make it look like this. So it'd be 3 tangent x minus 1 over 3 times 1 over tangent x. So it would look like that. So I basically just replaced cotangent with 1 over tangent x. Now I gotta simplify. And so I really am concerned about that and simplifying that right there. Well, this would, just rewriting this, 3 tangent x minus. Now, all of that would be 1 over, and this would be like 3 over 1 times 1 over tangent x. So that's going to be 3 over tangent x. So if I take this fraction here, which that's a division fraction problem, and do that, that would be 1 divided by 1 over 1 divided by 3 over tangent x, and so which is 1 over 1 times the reciprocal of that, which would be tangent x over 3. All right, so if I flip that, this whole thing here would become tangent x over 3. So all of that will become this right there. All right, so now putting that back together, this would be 3 tangent x minus tangent x over 3. Now, before I write that in there, tangent x over 3 is 1/3 tangent x. That's the same thing. There's a 1 right there in front of that. So this is 1/3 tangent x. Now, if I put that together, these are like terms. I mean, this would be no different than 3y minus 1/3 y. That's going to be 2 1/3 y. So this right here equals 2 2/3, 2 2/3, right? 3 minus 1/3 would be 2 2/3 tangent x. But the way most people are going to express that is with a improper fraction of 8 thirds tangent x. So that gets the final circle. That is the final answer of that. That's a much simplified way of writing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one. So we got cosecant cubed. Now we know that cosecant x is equal to 1 over sine x. And cosecant squared x is 1 over sine squared x. Cosecant cubed x is 1 over sine cubed x. That's just how that works. So I could replace cosecant cubed with 1 over sine cubed. This problem here is probably the easier of the three, but that would become, I'll put it down here, sine squared x over 1 over sine cubed x. And again, we have this fraction problem like this right here. We're going to have to actually expand that out and do it. So this would be sine squared x over 1, that's the top part, divided by 1 over sine cubed x. And if we flip that second fraction, sine squared x over 1 and then times the reciprocal of that would be sine cubed x over 1. So the question is, what is sine squared x times sine cubed x? Well, what is x squared times x cubed? That's x to the fifth. That's rules of exponents. So this would be sine to the fifth of x. Final answer. Sine to the fifth of x. So that right there would be the final answer to that one. All right, now our final one down here is a little bit bigger, and it would be nice if we could make somehow sine squared x into a cosine. And of course there's a way to do it because there's a trig identity, I'll write it in purple, that states sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. We've been going over that. So if I wanted to say, okay, what does sine squared x equal then? Well, if I separated this, got it by itself, I would have to subtract cosine squared x from both sides. And this leads me to another trig identity. That's going to be sine squared x is actually equal to 1 minus cosine squared x. So that's a fact. I mean, we know that this is a fact, so this has to be true too. Has to be. So now what I can do is take what I'm circling right there and put it in place of that. And that way I'll turn everything into cosines, which is, you know, what this whole assignment is about rewriting it into one trig term. But this 2 here, now that's a 2, that's a coefficient. So that thing is going to multiply whatever I put there. So I'm going to have to put that in parentheses, 1 minus cosine squared x, all right, plus 3, I'm just rewriting now, 3 cosine x minus 3. And I would have to keep going with this, so I would have to distribute the 2 through, like so. So that would be 2 minus 2 cosine squared x plus, and then I rewrite that, 3 cosine x minus 3. And then I'm going to put these together, and don't fall for this trap. Cosine squared x plus another just cosine x does not go together. So you're going to have 2 cosines in this. That's like x squared plus x is not equal to something else. It won't combine because they're not like. The only thing that is like term is this 2, which is positive, and that minus 3. So that is going to become, negative 1. So this final answer is going to be the following. Minus 2 or negative 2 cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x minus 1. And that in the rectangle is the final answer. And so this is something that is definitely not intuitive whatsoever. It's going to take a lot of work to get good at this, but I hope you keep working at it. Have a good one.